hidden away deep in a mostly forgotten tome called the Magnamund Companion, are, as it is broadcasted on the front cover, new role-playing games. And specifically, in this one, there is a little game called the Ragadorn Ale-house Brawl. It comes with 2 pages of rules, a game board with some tables along the side and in the back of the book, and a bunch of character sheets. So this is a role-playing game / war game designed for up to 10 players. I am going to be doing this as a solo game, but I'm going to play all characters because it's a highly asymmetrical game. There's nothing equal. Every character is different. Every character has different abilities and special items. And interestingly, this little book, this is a source book for the world of Lone Wolf, which was a series of game books. And this talks all about it, about the world. And interesting, like a White Dwarf article practically, there's a whole section in here about crafting your own custom terrain and where to find miniatures. And specifically, this book assumes that you'll be able to find Citadel miniatures from Games Workshop. Well, I guess maybe it was from Citadel at the time for this world. And I don't know how specific the miniatures were. I don't own any. I don't believe I knew that miniatures existed back when this book was released in 1987. It encourages crafting your own game elements, and so that's what I've done. Well, arguably, I didn't craft these cards. I did design them in Inkscape and then sent them to a printer. But I've got to make gameplay a little bit easier, I've got special item cards, I've got some secondary objective cards, which aren't strictly a part of the game, but I use it to sort of give a mechanic to some of the things that weren't given rules in the game. I've got item cards, and then I've got character cards for each character, and I've also painted miniatures to represent each character. So I'll go through each character one at a time during this setup process. And the first part of setup is to distribute special items to each character. So that seems like a good way to start. So, first of all, and I'm just drawing character cards at random here. First of all is the Herb Warden. You are an Herb Warden from Bautar, sent to Ragadorn to investigate the disappearance of a fellow Herb Warden called Dalamor. You have discovered that your arch enemies, the Senner Druids, have a secret temple in Ragadorn, and that Dalamar was murdered there. You must return to Bautar to report your chilling discovery, but for that you need money. Objective: acquire 40 gold crowns for your return trip to Bautar by whatever means possible. The Herb Warden has a combat skill of 12, endurance of 20, movement of only 3 squares, one of the lower movement speeds, to be honest, and then 8 gold currently. He needs 40 gold total to get out of here. He carries a dagger as his weapon. Let's find out what special item he gains during this setup stage. He has gained a spell book. That's not too bad. Put any player to sleep for 2 turns, and he can use that spell twice per game. Next up is the Adventurous. You are a skilled fighter and assassin who has just returned from a successful mission in Duranor. Your contact has just been murdered, but he had hidden your payment, a large diamond, in this alehouse. You fear someone witnessed the assassination you carried out, and that you have been followed all the way from Duranor. Objective: find the large diamond hidden somewhere in the alehouse. Combat skill of 15, endurance 24, that's pretty good. Movement of 4, pretty standard. Gold 12. She carries a sword and a dagger. So she's got a sword and a dagger. So I'm going to look through the normal standard item cards and find a sword and a dagger. No, I'm not. I'm going to look through my cards, my special item cards, and grant her a dagger right away. And the reason that I give her a dagger, the reason I have dagger cards separately is because daggers do have special stats. Normally, for her sword, for instance, she'll use her combat skill, which is 15, but she also needs the dagger stats, which, in the event that she throws it. And I assume that when you throw a dagger, you lose the dagger. So if she throws this, then this card goes away. Okay, and then she's also, of course, like everyone, going to gain a special item from the deck. And in this case, okay, it's a medallion of stealth, which is maybe a misnomer. It's not actually, it doesn't do anything for stealth. There is no stealth mechanic here, but it does grant her +2 to movement, which gives her 6 movement speed, which is good. All right, let's take a look at the mercenary now. You are a soldier of fortune from Vareta. 2 months ago, your regiment was ambushed and massacred. You alone survived. You have sworn revenge on the traitor who betrayed your comrades. The traitor is hiding in Ragadorn and is also a Varetian mercenary. You know that the traitor is often disguised as a magician or a ranger. Objective: kill the magician and the ranger. Combat skill of 15, pretty high. Endurance of 28, quite high. Movement of 4, gold 16. Weapon is a sword. Okay, let's see what special item he gains. Oh boy, a golden shield. That's +2 combat when attacked by another player. So this only is valid when he's being attacked. But I mean, that'll raise his combat up to 17, which is quite good. The combat's really interesting in this system, and we'll see that in play, certainly. There's a lot of it. Okay, next up is the Druid. You are a member of an evil sect of druids called the Senners. Your brotherhood has set up a secret temple deep in the heart of Ragadorn, but its location has been discovered by your arch-enemies, the Herb Wardens of Bautar. You've already killed one of their spies, but now another has been sent to investigate his disappearance. You've tracked him to this alehouse. Objective: kill the Herb Warden as quickly as possible. So you start to see how each character has some other character within this game they've got conflict with. So it's quite intriguing the way this works. Combat is 12, not great. Endurance 20, not great. Movement 3, not great. Gold 6, not great. Weapon, quarterstaff. Okay, let's see what special item he gets. Hopefully this is a good one for him, because +8 endurance, he gets to consume this elixir of life once. That'll bring up his endurance to 28, so at least that'll help him take hits. But at a combat of 12, I feel like it would have been better for him to gain some kind of boost to his combat, but that's not how the cards... Those are not literally the cards that he has been dealt. Here's the Knight. You are a Knight of the White Mountains, a warrior lord of Duranor. 2 days ago, your brother was assassinated at his castle in Rime. You witnessed the crime and have followed the assassin known as the Adventuress to Ragadorn. You hope to take her back to Duranor to face trial, but you fear she won't go willingly. Objective: arrest the Adventuress. You may only attack her if she offers resistance. Combat is 16, endurance 26, movement 4. Now she's got a movement of 6, we know that, because she got that medallion of stealth. So that'll be just logistically difficult for him. Gold of 12, broadsword is his weapon, and his special item is a +4 to combat. Wow. So he's going to be a 20 combat, one of the more powerful characters in the game so far. Okay, here's the Lone Wolf. This is the title character of the series from which Magnamund was derived. A scroll found on a dead Gyak, that's like an orc, in the Durnacrag Mountains points to a Dark Lord plot to take control of Ragadorn. You arrived in the city last night and were attacked by a Hellghast, but you fought it off with your magic spear. You've tracked the Hellghast to this alehouse, and you are sure it has taken the appearance of one of the customers. Objective: discover the Hellghast and kill it before it kills you. Combat is 18, endurance is 34, movement is 5, gold is 10, and his weapon is a magic spear. His special item is a magic talisman, and that gives him +4, basically defense. So when he's attacked by another player, then he gets +4 to his combat score. Not bad. All right, next up is the Merchant. You are a wealthy merchant who owns a trading post down by Ragadorn Key. You love gambling and often frequent the alehouse to play the gaming table. Some nights, you're very lucky. You've made enemies due to your shady business deals. Remain on guard at all times. Objective, win 50 gold crowns at the gaming table. It's a lot of gold. Or acquire the money by some other means before the night is out. Combat is 10. I think he's going to be best probably just gambling. Endurance is 24. Movement is 3. Gold is 20. So he's got a bit of a head start. I interpret the objective being the end objective. Like, you need to end with 50 gold. It doesn't mean you literally have to win 50 more gold on top of your 20. That's how I understand this. His weapon is a dagger, so again, I'm going to give him a dagger card just so that we have the stats there. And then we'll draw a card, and he gets +2 movement. I don't know if that's going to really do much for him. I mean, I guess it can't hurt. He can maybe move around and search the ale house for, like, dropped coins, which is a thing, so that could be useful, yeah. And then finally, no, not finally, almost finally, we have the Ranger. You've just returned from a long and successful hunting trip to Duranor. Upon arrival, you sold some furs to the merchant. We just saw the merchant. For 25 gold crowns. You later discovered that he'd cheated you, and that 15 coins were counterfeit. You've come to the alehouse to make him give you the money he owes you. The objective: persuade the merchant to hand over 15 gold crowns, or kill him and take the money. So the Ranger has a 15 combat, 24 endurance, movement of 4, gold of 10, and so he needs 15 gold crowns from the merchant, essentially. Or no, it needs to be from the merchant, dead or alive. And then he's got an axe and a bow as his special items. And so for that, I'm going to give him bow card and an axe card. Those are his weapons. Drawing a special item card, which is the only red one in the deck, so we know what that is. It's the Helghast card, meaning that secretly, this guy, the Ranger, is actually the Helghast in disguise. I'm assuming, because he's got history with the merchant, that probably the real Ranger, the one who got counterfeited, who got scammed by the merchant, probably got killed by this Helghast, and then the Helghast took his form. That's the backstory that I am assuming is taking place. So the Helghast maybe overheard this guy's motive of, like, I gotta see that merchant and get 15 gold coins from him, and he's gonna go and pretend like that's what he's doing, but all along he's actually waiting for the lone wolf to confront him. And now, last but not least, I guess, is, well, still not last, actually, because there is the landlord card. So, the Magician. You are a journeyman from the Magician's Guild of Toran. Upon arriving in Ragadorn this morning, you were attacked by a street thief. In the fight, the thief fell on his own dagger and died. You kept the dagger. Okay, so she gets a dagger card. And the special item that was in the thief's pocket. Since then, you have heard that the Thieves Guild are now on the lookout for you. Your objective: acquire 20 gold crowns for the coach fare to the safety of Duranor. So she's got a combat of 13, endurance of 22, movement of 3, gold of 0, and a dagger. So this has always kind of confused me, the wording of this, because it says that you've kept a special item. So to me, that sounds like she gets the special item and then another special item. So I think that's how I'm going to interpret it now. So in other words, she gets the dagger for taking the dagger off the thief's body, and then she got a special item from him, which, let's just say, was a magic wand, which allows her to stop any player from moving 2 turns. Actually, it would make more sense, I guess, if the thief had the magic mace. That's a +2 combat mace. Okay. Because she's a magician and because it's the luck of the draw, she also gets the magic wand, which stops any player from moving for 2 turns, and she can use this 2 times. So that's the Magician. And now, really, actually, last but not least, is the Landlord card. So the Landlord card, or the Landlord, rather, is meant to be the game master, really. Like, these are all the NPCs. It's the Landlord and staff. As Landlord of the Tavern, your objective is to collect 40 gold crowns from players at the gambling table and to ensure none of your staff are killed. So, among these people, we have the landlord herself. She has a combat of 16, endurance of 26, movement of 5, gold 20, and her weapon is a club. We have the croupier running the gambling table. He's got a combat of 10, endurance of 21, movement of 4, and gold of 3, and a dagger. So I'll add a dagger card to to this one. We've got serving girl 1. She's got combat of 8, endurance of 18, movement of 4, and just 1 gold piece. She has no weapon. We have serving girl 2, combat of 7 only, endurance 18, movement of 4, gold of 1, and again, no weapon. So that's kind of what we have to deal with in terms of staffing the tavern. That's the setup of all the characters. Now, gameplay proceeds to just clockwise of the landlord, of wherever the landlord is sitting at the table. Because we don't have a table, what we will do instead is roll for placement. And we will start, I'll try to do it numerically, like highest roll will go first. So I'm using this essentially as an initiative roll, but it'll be a little bit of a fuzzy initiative roll. Starting positions is that you roll a d10. This is a d10 based system with 0 representing 0, not 10. So 0 is specifically called out as 0. 0 is 0. Now, the actual game book itself uses a funky little non-dice rolling system where you're supposed to just close your eyes and pick a number and see what you pick. But I don't bother with that. It's fun, and it's a nice thing like to provide people so that they don't have to roll dice if they don't have dice or whatever. But that fell out of the book. But I don't, that's not where I am. I've got dice. I'm fine. I'm happy to roll dice. So that's okay. So we shall roll for characters. So the ranger has an 8. I've already forgotten what this means. Starting positions. If the number is 0 to 6, you get to start on any square inside the ale house, with the exception of like on top of a table or behind the bar. On a 7 to 9, you have to start at one of the doors. So I have crafted my own tavern. Crafted inside of a box to be self-contained. There are little tables here, and the tables each have a bottle of wine on them. The bottles of wine are items that people can pick up, and they are represented not by the blue deck, but by the red deck. So we have bottles, we have an axe over by the fireplace in off-screen that you can't even see. It's a beautiful fireplace. It is there. There it is. There's a little hand axe there. We've got torches on the wall. We have plates of food people can throw at each other. We have a broom and a bucket off in a corner. Essentially, everything in this tavern that you see, you can interact with it. And in fact, there are some things that you can't see. There are chairs around each table. I didn't want to bother making chairs out of popsicle sticks. Just couldn't be bothered. But there are chairs. So if a character goes up to an item, like up to a table, if the character wants, you can just draw like a bottle card or a chair card or whatever makes sense. After you use that object, you discard the object and it's no longer on the board. So in theory, each character could go to this one table and pick up 4 bottles. But then there would be no more bottles on the board, even if represented on a table. Same goes with food, although the food isn't glued down, so I can actually pick up the food and discard them if that comes up. On the other side of the tavern, there's our gaming table, which is where the croupier will be standing, trying to scam people out of their money, or rather take their money for enjoyment of gaming. The bar, so the landlord and one serving girl will be behind the bar. Someone has to start behind the bar. Like one of the staff has to be behind the bar. That's proscribed by the game. And then we'll set the other serving girl over here by just a table. Presumably she's maybe clearing it off, or if someone else ends up there, then maybe she's setting it up. And in fact, we do know that someone's going to end up, or someone can end up there, and that's the ranger, because he's the one I happened to select first, and he rolled an 8, which is pretty high. I mean, probably he'll go right after the landlord, unless someone rolls a 9, which is possible. So let's see who rolls next. I am grabbing the herb warden, and I'll roll a dice for the herb warden, and that's a 2. So 0 to 6, you get to start inside. 7 to 9, you start at the door. Oh, so I'm doing it backwards, aren't I? Okay, so the ranger is going to start over here by the door, way up there. And so he's actually very late in the initiative, not very early. And the herb warden is actually pretty early. Someone can still roll like a 0 or a 1. But it sounds like the herb warden is going to be there at the table. Now the herb warden, I think he has money. Yeah, he's got a couple of gold coins. Okay, so that's fine. And his goal is to kill the... No, his goal is to acquire 40 gold pieces. Okay, so he's probably going to be focusing on the gambling table, actually. And since he rolled pretty low, that's a good thing. So I'm going to actually set him up over there, because I think that's where he would want to start. If I was a player, and I am, playing the herb warden, and I am, that's where I would want to start. So that's what I'll do. Okay, next up is the adventuress. Let's see what she rolls. 3. That's not bad. So she could start here at the table, finally. Someone to justify that serving girl. And the adventuress, of course, is looking for a diamond. So she's going to be on the move. She's got a nice 6 movement speed. She'll be moving from object to object to object to every object in the room, looting, taking a card from the loot deck in order to see if she can uncover where this diamond is that was supposed to be her payment for the assassination. Next up is the mercenary. He rolls a 5, so he's still inside wherever he wants to be, but a little bit late in initiative order, I guess. Now, his goal is to kill the ranger, so I think, honestly, I'm going to place him over here at the bar, because I think kind of as close to the ranger as he can get is probably what he would want to be. In fact, maybe not even at the bar. This seems closer to me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So it looks, I'm getting that sense that combat might happen pretty early on in this game. Because we do have some people hunting each other down, and the way that the initiatives are happening, it's just kind of, it's kind of interesting. Okay, next up is merchant. The merchant just rolled a 9, so he gets to start at the door. Now, the merchant wants to find... No, the merchant and the ranger are actually opposed. I'm gonna just do a little cheeky repositioning there and have the merchant down at the other door here. Just walking in, he'll be. Because I don't necessarily fancy having the merchant too close to the ranger, obviously. I mean, the ranger is armed with a bow, but I don't know what tactic the ranger's going to take yet. There's a serving girl between them, and I don't think the ranger... Well, the ranger's really hellgassed, right? So maybe he would just shoot the serving girl. Who cares, right? But that would expose his position, his true identity as well. So there is that to consider. Okay, anyway, next up is, I'm just grabbing randomly here, the druid. Druid gets a 4, so that's not too bad. And he wants to kill the herb warden. The herb warden is over here, so I wonder if he's kind of lingering awkwardly over by this table. Or actually, you know what? He could be lingering non-awkwardly over at the bar. That's exactly what he'll do. That makes him really close to the Herb Warden. Although, in terms of initiative, he's not, the Herb Warden's going to get sort of the jump on him. Because the Herb Warden is really early. He's like 2 in initiative or something. And the Druid just rolled a 4. So he's like, no, actually, that's not bad. Yeah, he's right here between the Adventurous and the Merchant, I think. I've already forgotten. And it doesn't matter. It's technically not initiative roll. It would be like where people sat down at the table. All right, Magician. 2, so that's quite high as well. The Magician, her goal is to acquire 20 gold. I don't know what her strategy is going to be yet. She's got a bunch of special items. She's got 0 gold though, so she can't gamble. Okay, that establishes that her strategy is not going to be the gambling table, not at least at first. So I'll just position her at a table, and we'll just see where sort of logic and roleplay leads us. So I'm going to put her just right in front of the Herb Warden for no particular reason. I think the Herb Warden rolled a 2 as well, maybe. She could go before, she could go after. It doesn't really matter. Like I say, she does have a higher combat than him, so maybe that's justification for her to go before him. Not that big of a deal. All right, here's the Knight. This could be interesting because he, of course, is after the Adventurous, and he just rolled a 4, which was the same thing that the Druid, I think, had rolled a 4. So this is the Knight, and if he's after the Adventurous, I mean, it sure would be like awkward for him to just be sitting at the table with the Adventurous. But we could do that. We could say that he's that bold. Just for kind of like stepping in as the landlord GM here, I'm going to say that doesn't make sense as a starting position. Like, we could imagine that right before the game started, he walked into the tavern, saw her, and just sat down boldly next to her to make her feel uncomfortable. That's totally doable, but he's a knight. I'm going to say that he's been here talking to the mercenary, and he is aware that she's there. So, and this is within his movement, 1, 2, 3, 4. So he'll be able to move towards her like on his first turn. So it's not like I'm robbing him of any opportunities, really. It's just that I just don't see him starting at her table. That feels a little bit awkward. And I think this is the final one, and that's Lone Wolf, who I don't need. I was just saying, I don't need him to roll high. So here's the thing, though, right? He rolled a 9. So he's hunting for the Hellgast. He doesn't know who the Hellgast is. I'm going to just put him right next to the Hellgast. Is that fair? No. You know what? I'm going to roll a d6. Well, I can just keep rolling d10s, I guess. Roll a d10. Odds and evens, I'll say odd is up here, even is down there. And he rolls a 5, so odd is up here. So he does. Oddly, he's just walking in right after the ranger is. He rolls a 9, so he goes way, I think he might be the last one in initiative, which I think is kind of okay. It'll be interesting. And I think that's everybody. Unless I'm forgetting someone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, that was everyone. Okay, cool. All right, so that's the starting. That's the setup. That is the starting positions of everyone established. And in the next video, I'll start round 1 of this game, and we'll see how it plays out. Thanks for watching.